We have one other question for you. You had mentioned that a central goal of your campaign is to hire 2,000 employees to develop and enforce the insurance database. We want to know, how are you going to do that? And is that going to be fiscally conservative?
That's a great, I am glad you asked that question. Whoever did, thank you, because I don't want any misconceptions. We're actually going to reduce probably 10 or 15% immediately. We're certainly going to reduce salaries. My salary is going to get reduced, and every one of the managerial salaries are going to get reduced. If you want to get that money back as a manager, you're going to have to go find it in efficiency improvements in your department and elsewhere. So we're going to start with zero-based budgeting, and you're going to have to justify every year your new salary. Now, these are private industry jobs. So that means insurance companies like State Farm and others are going to hire these individuals to manage the incoming 500,000 new customers. And the thing that I'm justifying them paying for, so that you don't pay for it, I'm going to make them pay for it, the insurance companies, for the hardware and the software, is because we're bumping their sales. And it's only fair that they give us the hardware, they give us the software, and they update it nightly. All of those jobs are going to be paid for by the insurance company, plus I'm going to ask for a reduction in your underinsured and uninsured motorists, and Mark knows that. And so,
if I may, I do. There's a lot of independent agents who will hire people. You'll have IT people hired because you'll have to have XML files sent. For those of you who don't know, that's like Western Union, the Pony Express. But seriously, they'll send the files, the XML files.
Right. No. So all of this is.
They're doing it in New York presently. They're doing it in most of the states in the U.S. already, just not in Illinois.
Right.
And the insurance companies all have paid for it because it does create jobs and more people insured and lowers rates actually.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
Thanks for the question. I have a question. I'm assuming it's for you, Robert. It says, why are all our manufacturing businesses going over to Wisconsin?
Well, that's a great question too. Take a look. You go over to Wisconsin, you incorporate an LLC. An LLC is the tax code, federal tax code, applies across the nation. It's the state and the state's rights to oversee, through the Secretary of State's office, to oversee the incorporation processes and to monitor it, and monitor good, efficient corporation processes. An LLC in Wisconsin, I think, costs something like $110 to organize an LLC. A limited liability company means you do not incorporate another legal entity. It's just, it's a pass through your personal income. It's perfect for small businesses, and that's what it was meant to engender small businesses, people who are not sure they want to create another legal entity, hire an attorney, do all the processes to do the tax returns. You just pass it right through your personal income. It's a part of the 1040 form. You will see it if you organize an LLC. $110. In Illinois, $650 to organize an LLC. I see some nodding heads. There must be some LLCs out here. Listen, what they're trying to tell you, $90 in Indiana. $650 to do it here. Oh, wow. We are telling people that are savvy and smart, don't do it here. Whatever you do, don't incorporate it here. Don't do your LLCs here. Take it somewhere else. And you know what? They've been doing it. And that's why people are going to Wisconsin, Indiana. That's why we've had a net exodus of 750,000 citizens. That's why we've lost 20% of our manufacturing base. Listen, over the last 8 years, if I, as a CEO of any organization, a major corporation, had lost 20% of our sales, I would be fired. And rightfully so by the stockholders. You're the stockholders. I'm asking you to go out there and recruit people to fire these guys and start getting some sense back in the state of Illinois.
This is our last question. I want so badly to ask Mr. Surgrue to recite. No, I'm not going to ask. But he can from memory. The question is, do we need a Constitution convention? in order to gain back direct binding statewide ballot initiatives like California has?
Well, if you recall, we had that on the ballot in 2008. Every 20 years, the Illinois Constitution allows for a convention. So we could have asked for a convention in 2008. And there were a number of people, we actually had a pretty active debate on it 2 years ago, whether we should call for a convention or not. In my opinion, I was opposed to it because the fact of the matter is that you look at the way things are in Illinois, and as bad as things are, can you imagine if the current crowd, the current Obama elites that are running this state were in a constitutional convention drafting a new Illinois Constitution? Think about that. Right now we have our state income tax is 3%, which I think is too high. They want to make it 4.5% right now. Of course, you know, we haven't even passed the budget because they're hoping that we won't realize that they're for raising their taxes until after November. The fact of the matter is, the only reason why it's still 3% is because the Illinois Constitution mandates a flat tax. And so people like Pat Quinn right now who want more than anything else to raise their income taxes is kind of stuck because if you raise taxes on, you can't just tax the rich, you have to tax everybody in Illinois. And that's the only reason why our taxes aren't even higher. If we have a constitutional convention, what are the odds that we're still going to have a flat tax for our income tax? You know, so I'm against the convention. Let's keep, what we need to do is actually enforce the Constitution that we have right now, which is what we're not doing. Our Constitution right now provides for a balanced budget. Let's actually pay attention to that. Let's actually obey the Constitution and have a balanced budget in the state of Illinois.
I just need to say something, 60 seconds. I promise it'll be 60 seconds. People talk to me because I came, go ahead and time me. I was born in Honduras, I came as an immigrant to the United States. I never saw the United States before I was 13. The question arose out on the floor whether why Hispanics hate Republicans because we are not for amnesty. We're not for amnesty. But look, it's not a Republican or a Democratic thing. Let's take a look at Obama for just a second, Mel. Let's take a look at Obama for just a second. His Anse Tuni Oyengo gets to stay here undocumented. He's deporting more Hispanics than Bush did. 30% more Hispanics than Bush did. This is a Democrat. This is a hit on the Democrats. This is what I say in Spanish in Little Village on the radio. I've said this just last week. And yet he promised that he would do immigration reform, which is, I think, most Republicans. Everybody wants immigration reform, some sort of penalty, get in line. A lot of Republicans want immigration reform. Get in line, you're going to pay a penalty, you're going to work here a certain period of time, and then you either go home or you become a citizen. Some sort of immigration reform is what most people in the United States are talking about. Obama's not doing that. So the Secretary of State's office does not control immigration reform. It does not issue driver's licenses either. It's the Illinois General Assembly. I just want you to know, as a Hispanic Republican, we crawl away from the attacks of the Democrats against us on immigration. And we should beat up on Obama and Washington for not doing their job, locking down that border and doing something about the people that are here in a normalized process. Otherwise, we're just going to keep engendering these problems politically. Thank you very much. I wanted to say that.